Think we live. I think we got the audio situation corrected. It might be just because I need to have my AirPods in, and maybe I didn't yesterday. But either way, I apologize for yesterday's stream because there is no audio on it for whatever reason. So I'm going to kind of go over what I went over yesterday, just kind of touch on it because hopefully this is working and I won't find out until after the fact. And then I wanted to put a little Spider-Man brand new day question out for the people. So this is Armand here for E equals MCU, and word in these internet streets yesterday was that Finn Jones would be returning as Iron Fist, not in Daredevil Born Again season 2, but in Daredevil Born Again season 3. He will be mentioned in Daredevil Born Again season 2. That is the rumor, the report. I believe it was cryptic cryptic 4K, cryptic quality 4K or something, that reported that on Twitter. And that just strikes me because, I did the video talking about Heroes for Hire, um, being in development. We already know Mike Coulter has confirmed that he has had talks with Marvel. I honestly, personally wish that both of them were coming back in Daredevil Born Again season 2 with Jessica Jones. Like, I would just like to see them speed this process up a little bit so that we can we don't need to slowly introduce these people because we've already met them. We've already gone through and said that Netflix is now canon. So all of their backstories and everything, we've met them. We've spent time with them. Just bring them back. He needs an army. Bring them back. Let's get this ratcheted up, and so we can get to other New York street level heroes that we can then introduce. I thought the introduction of Muse was actually, considering you can kind of tell like the whole season was kind of what they call Frankenstein. I still thought that that was a pretty good angle in a villain for Daredevil. That was someone that I had never heard of from the comics, but I almost even feel like he didn't even really get enough time because they Frankenstein the old with the new and everything. I almost feel like he got shortchanged as far as just being a full season villain, just by having Kingpin and Queenpin story going along, and then you had the whole thing going on with Bullseye. So that was one of the reports yesterday. The other one was that Olivia Holt wants to return as Dagger in the MCU, stating that that was her favorite character to play. And my take on that was just that, why not? You know what I mean? Like, unless and you want to make them younger because you need, more than likely, if whatever's going on with Cloak and Dagger is going to have something to do with Spider-Man. So depending on if Destin Daniel Cretton has any plans for Cloak and Dagger in a Spider-Man film in this next trilogy, which I hope he does the next three, that's a whole nother discussion because we need Shang-Chi or Shang-Chi 2 like yesterday. So I don't know if he could do all of those at once. And then the whole Wonder Man thing you got going on. You got the Ten Rings show that was supposed to be going on. So he got a lot on his plate. But if you're not bringing them back in a Spider-Man film soon, even if you were bringing them back, to be honest, the two actors that played Cloak and Dagger still probably match up with Tom Holland's age. Like, they're still young adults. They're probably in their 20s right now. Just don't wait until they're like 40, I guess would be my gripe. Like, go ahead and bring those two back. Bring back the Runaways, even though they are no longer teenagers. Clearly, Alex, the guy that played Alex, is he's gone on to do a lot of other things. He's growing up. He's clearly, doing stuff. They did bring back the voice for Spider-Man, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. They did bring back the actress that played Nico Monroe. Um, I would like. I enjoyed both of those series. I like Runaways better than Cloak and Dagger, but I did enjoy getting something new with Cloak and Dagger, and how they did the whole thing with Roxanne in New Orleans. and everything with the oil. Um, there's a tie-in for that because of what the whole Josh Gad thing with what happened in Wonder Man. So I would like to see Cloak and Dagger brought in and explained and just kind of integrated with everything going on Marvel TV. And honestly, I think Brad Winderbaum is just not really starting to cook because he's got the keys to the kingdom for TV. I'm sure he has his restrictions, but at the same time, he still has so much that he can kind of play with and just keep it running congruently. So, um, you know, so my vote on that was yes, go ahead and let those guys back into the MCU. Um, Now, the question I want to propose for today is it has to do with Spider-Man Brand New Day. So at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home, Doctor Strange does the spell to make everybody forget that Spider-Man is Peter Parker. I don't know if he necessarily wanted to make everybody just forget Peter Parker, but I thought it was just like, if I remember correctly, it was he was trying to get him to do a spell to make people forget that Peter Parker was Spider-Man. So I've seen a lot of reports where people say nobody remembers Peter Parker, but at the same time, like most of the heroes, the only one who really knew he was Peter Parker was Doctor Strange. I mean, or aside from Tony, yeah, Tony, Doctor Strange, everybody else was kind of like, who is this kid? We just know him as Spider Man. They didn't really necessarily know his name, or even if they did know his name, they didn't know him, or you know what I mean? Like it wasn't like that. There was a few number of people who knew Peter Parker was Spider Man, but playing into that story, and now that we're getting Avengers Doomsday back, one person that I know. Okay, so here's the theory. We know that Chris Evans is coming back as Captain America, as Steve Rogers. The question is, does the spell that Doctor Strange did in 2024 from No Way Home affect a Steve Rogers that was not in our timeline or here in 2024 as the iteration that we're going to be getting in Doomsday? So that Steve Rogers who fought with Spider-Man or fought against Spider-Man in Civil War, fought with Spider-Man in Avengers Endgame, he technically should remember, if he ever knew in the first place. He'll at least know, Brooklyn and Queens, so he'll at least know, hey, that's the kid from Queens. He would not be affected by that spell, if I'm thinking about this correctly. So technically, Steve Rogers should know Spider-Man. He should know Spider-Man's from Queens. He knows that's the kid. They could go and say, hey, yeah, he knew he was Peter Parker or whatever. Let me know down in the comment section, how do you guys feel about, or if you think I'm onto something here, is that right? And if you can think of anybody else who would be excluded from the Doctor Strange spell for whatever reasons, like like well, yeah, no, yeah, I was thinking like Gamora, but no, Gamora was here. She was already in this timeline, but still, like in theory, Steve Rogers, Captain America, should remember Peter Parker, Spider Man, in theory. So let me know if I'm onto something here on that. Um, Really, there's nothing else, man. I'm like the rest of you guys. I am waiting for Spider Man Brand New Day trailer to drop any day now, at any point, anytime. And with my luck, it's probably dropping right now as I'm on live, and then I'll get off, and then everybody will be talking about the trailer. But what have you? What can you do? So, with that said, man, that is my time for today. That's all I got for today. And yeah, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Till tomorrow, peace.